I mean, I'd love to get Joe Biden, but I don't think he's going to be able to walk up those stairs.
You know, I think.
Actually, I know he won't be able to walk up those stairs,
Yeah.
but...
What's up, everybody? In today's upload, I'm going to share with you guys the funniest moments on the Shawn Ryan Show podcast. Now, this is a series I want to start doing on this channel. I'm probably going to do it every month or every other month. So this is part one of the funniest moments on the Shawn Ryan Show. Enjoy. Now, first up on the list is from episode number 98 with Navy SEAL operator Jonathan Wilson. And he shares a story about a crazy night out the night before Hell Week.
And I show up the first day and there's just a bunch of folks that wanted to try out for these different units. And I can just tell, like, no, these guys, in my head, I was like, they ain't going to make it. And there was one dude, and I started gravitating towards him because he could actually do the workouts. He was doing more than most, and we became best friends. And I have a pattern here at this point, and it's about having a good time. So Shifting Sands on the base is a little local, like, bar. And I had my Jeep, and me and my buddy would go down there on Fridays, quarter beer night in A school, and just get hammered.
Where is this?
It's on the base. It's on Dam Neck.
What was your A school?
OS, Operations Specialist.
Shit, that's what I was.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, damn. I was over at Peabody's.
Oh, yeah, Peabody's. Oh, my God. Peabody's. I'm surprised you didn't get shot.
Me too.
Oh, man. Yeah, we stayed on base, man. We thought we were being smart, but, I mean, after that, we probably spent like $20 at quarter beer nights a lot. I knew this guy was going to be one of my best friends. And he was a class ahead of me, so he took off, kind of got the lay of the lands in buds. And then I showed up a week later, and we became roommates and just waited till the class filled up. And idle hands, brother. Idle hands. We got really close to not ever being given a shot to try out for buds.
Damn.
Self-induced. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. So for those that are listening, A school it's basically your job training for the Navy. So back in those days, you go to A school, they force you to go to A school to go to buds, because then when you quit at buds, because it's like 80% attrition rate, then you fill the needs of the Navy with your A school. So that's what that is for those that are listening that don't know. So you get through A school, you show up to buds.
Yeah. Show up to buds. We're waiting for the class to fill up. We're doing our in-dock workouts, and it's our birthday weekend, the weekend before we actually class up. So the weekend before we start, we class up, it's my birthday and his birthday. His is on the 18th, mine's May 16th. So, I mean, we got to celebrate, right? So let's go to a Padres game and have one beer. So we go to a Padres game, and those beers are massive. Like, I don't know if you've been to a ball game, but like these are like, they're huge. And one became two became three. And we were rolling with a buddy of ours, John Parker. John ended up getting medically discharged, broke both his legs in Hell Week, and still finished, man. Stud of a dude. But John, Zayd, and myself hopped in his truck, and it's us, the bench seat up front, so us three up there. John had a beer and then stopped drinking, and then Zayd and I were antagonizing. Let's go out. Let's go to the Irish bar. I forgot what it was called in San Diego. Go to the Irish bar, and we close that fucker down. This is Sunday night, dude. We start the next day. I know. So stupid. Peppered with failures, man. This is one of the bad decisions. We start driving back, and Zayd and I are fucking around in the passenger seat. John Parker's driving, and we're hitting each other and screwing around, and he's hitting us like, knock it off, you guys are fucking idiots. And we're coming on the bridge, Bay Bridge, and he slams on the brakes, and we hit the glass, and I'm like, what the hell, man? And there's a guy there with his hands up right in front of the car coming on the Bay Bridge in Coronado. It was a cop. There was flares. There was a suicide attempt happening, and they had the bridge closed off, and John, because of us, almost ran over a cop. This is the night before we start. I can laugh about it now, dude. I wasn't laughing about it then. John gets snatched out of the car. Parker gets snatched out of the car. We get pulled out of the car with the cops. They're like, hey, you guys been drinking? John refuses to blow. He gets arrested. He hadn't drank but one drink, like God's honest truth, or at least that's what I remember, earlier in the night, but he wasn't chancing it. He gets arrested. Zayd and I get cuffed and thrown in the back of a cop car, and we're waiting, and they're just dealing with John, and they come to us, and we start lipping off right away. Like, you can't do that. He's like a pre-law major, thinks he's smart on law, and he starts like yelling at this guy. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, knock it off, or else I'll take you two to jail. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to do you one better. So this guy drives off the Bay Bridge, takes us down into Barrio, and drops us off. We're like 3 hours out from classing up. We got to be at muster 3 hours. We run up to like a taco shop. There's a drive-thru, and we start yelling, can we get some water? Lady was like, no, I'm going to call the cops. She's like, oh, call. We start lipping off again. We're drunk, like acting like idiots, dude. She called the cops. I hear the cops coming again. So we take off. And Zayd's from Montana. I went to high school in Tennessee. So Texas, Tennessee, there's not much ocean where I'm from, where he's from. But in our head, kind of like the story I told you earlier when I was running from the cops, well, if we can't go across the Bay Bridge, and there's no Uber back then, like no taxis coming to Barrio, let's swim across the bay. So we hop over some barbed wire fence. We strip down butt naked. Put our stuff here, our phone, our flip phones back then, wallet. Okay, we're going to come back for this stuff. And I start climbing down the rocks to get in the water, dude. And I slip. And I just all the way down. I am cut up, dude. I'm bleeding everywhere. He comes down naked. Zayd picks me up. He's like, you okay, dude? Naked. I'm pretty sure there was like security cameras and dudes like in security was like, hey, Mike, come over here and check this out. Look at these two dudes. He's like, you all right? I was like, oh, man, I'm all banged up, man. I'm bleeding everywhere. We can't get in the water. He's like, yeah, no kidding, man. The sharks would tear us up. We didn't know any better. So we go try to find our clothes, man. So our plan was to swim across, get on base, get our uniform, dude, and then come back the next day. It took us forever to find our clothes, and we had just left. We would have never found it, man. I had no idea where we were at. We finally find it. We come out, and we're waiting. Like, we're just waiting for a car. The new plan is we're going to basically hijack a car.
Genius
Plan. It all made sense at the time. This little Hugo, you remember the Hugos?
I got to be honest. I can't believe Mexico isn't in this story right now. That's all. It might just pop up.
I got kids. I had to modify it a bit. Now, it's not in the story, but there were Mexicans in the story. So this little Hugo comes putting up right at us, and we stand in front of him. We stop, and it is full of some Mexican workers, hard hats and everything. They just got off shift, and we're like, hey, we need to get to the bridge. They're like, no, we can't. There's no room. It's like, no, like, you're going to take us to the bridge. They're like, no, mister, please. And it's like, we're not asking. It's like, so these guys are just like, fuck. So we hop in, and like, we're all jammed in this little Hugo. Hugos are like the size of like the seat. Like, we had 7-8 people in this thing, me and him, and Zayd's not a small dude. And they drive us to the bottom of the Bay Bridge, and the new plan is we're going to get on the opposite side of where the jumper is and the cop cars are. As we get close to where the incident's happening, we're going to low crawl past them and then continue on with walking across the Bay Bridge and then get into base. So that's what we do. We get on the bridge, we start walking up. All of a sudden, dude, Dukes of Hazzard style, like over the top of the Bay Bridge, this cop car catches air. I swear to God. Catches air, lands, turns like sideways. This guy comes out with the flashlight on his shotgun right in our eyes. I go to jump off the bridge. I'm like, I'm getting in the water. I go to jump, and as I'm going, like hands off, Zayd grabs me. First time he saved my life. Because we weren't over water. We were still over freaking land.
Whoa.
Grabs me. I grab on, pulls me back in. He was coherent enough to do that. That's the first time. It's happened a couple of times. Cop comes closer to us. He's like, get your hands up. Higher. And then you see the flashlight start lowering it. And it goes down. And the guy, we can't see him. I really can't see him. He's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. How did you two get back here so fucking fast? It was the same cop that had us earlier. He's like, what the fuck are you two doing? We're like, we gotta get to Buzz. He's like, you know what, man? hop in the car. I'm going to take you guys there. This dude, with like 40 minutes to spare, dude, put us in the car, drove us to the gate. We were too embarrassed or afraid or scared to go through the gate. So we hopped the fence. We go to the barracks. Somebody saw that, called the cops. But nevertheless, we go in the barracks, we change, we show up. We think we're good. There's cops looking for whoever hopped the fence, but I'm like, we made it, dude. We're at formation, and we're doing roll call, head count, and we're down a man. And the instructor's like, we're down John Parker. Who the fuck was with John Parker last night? And I looked to Zayd, and he looks to me, and we're like, dude, hold ground. And I have an issue with lying. Like, I'm like, dude, I can see this unfolding really bad if we don't come forward quick. So I'm like, fuck. And then Zayd sees me, so he does it. They pull us in there to the instructor room in there, and they start yelling at us, where the fuck is, what did you guys do? And one of the instructors stops everything. He's like, oh my God, smells like a whiskey factory in here. You boys been drinking all night? I'm like, oh God, we're done. So we tell them what happened. They're like, you guys are done. Like, you guys are out of here. Like, go back to the class. We'll let you know, but you guys are done. So all that work, man.
Damn.
And I thought, you idiot, you did it again. Like, you did it again, man. You worked your tail off to get into the academy. You worked your tail off to get into buds, and here we go again. And we just put our head down, and we got beat before class. We had to show up an hour early and got our asses beat. Just Zayd and I with all the instructors. We got beat an hour after class for all of first phase to Hell Week. And the worst thing that they made us do, man, to this day, the worst thing I've ever done is handwrite and hand number a 5,000 word essay. Like, I don't know if you've numbered that, but it takes hours. We had to sit there and 1, 2, 3. It takes forever, man.
Every word?
Every word.
Interesting. I'm going to have to try that sometime.
Yeah, it's a form of punishment that I don't wish on my worst enemy, man. But they gave us a shot. They let us try Hell Week, and we got through, and they pulled us aside afterwards, and it was like, we liked you guys, and we're going to see if you guys could figure it out. And if you could, we'd keep you, and if not, you're going to quit anyway, so it didn't matter to us. And it all worked out in the end, man.
Good for you. What happened to Parker?
So Parker was given a shot too. They ended up taking blood, and he had not drank in long enough where there was no alcohol. So they let him come back into the class. He got to Hell Week, went all the way through Hell Week, but broke both his legs and got medically discharged. So he's off doing good things now. I think he's working with his dad's business in Texas, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, but he's a pretty successful dude too.
Next up, we have a clip from episode number 90 with Green Beret Ryan Hendrickson, and he shares his hilarious introduction into the military.
I kind of had a weird path through the military, I guess you could say. So, and you'll end up reading about it, so I might as well just tell you here. But so I actually started off in the Navy.
Really?
Yep. I did 4 years in the Navy. 1996, the recruiters all come in, and you're taking the ASFAB or, whatever. And I think it was the Air Force. They were like, oh, no. No. We don't, no, we're okay. We're downsizing. The military's downsizing at the time. Like, no, that's really cute, but no, good luck to you, buddy. The Army, surprisingly, they didn't need anybody. I was, infantry was like an 8-month waiting period.
Wow.
Yeah, just to get to boot camp. I was like, okay. The Marine Corps, God, the guy came in and I'll never forget, he had at least an entire can of Copenhagen in his lip. And he's sitting there yelling, "You don't have what it takes to be a Marine. You're not good enough." And I was like, okay, I guess thanks for letting me know, man. That's great. But he scared me. It's like, holy shit, dude, you're a really scary guy. I don't want to be around people like you. You're scary. And then the Navy recruiter, no. It's like, hey, you want to travel the world, go to foreign ports, see foreign girls? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right, man. Yeah. What do you want to do in the Navy? I don't know. He's like, bosun's mate's a hell of a job. You get to pick whatever you want from there. You could be doing, he didn't mention, the actual job of a bosun's mate. So it's like, man, that sounds amazing. And he's showing me pictures of Australia, Thailand, Singapore. And I was like, I want to do that. And so it's color crayon right across the dotted line. And here I go, anchors away. And I did all of that. I got to travel the world. I was never on a nuclear vessel, so we were able to go into all the ports that like nuclear power or nuclear capable ships weren't allowed to go. Because I was on Amphib, the USS Shreveport, and then I was on the USS Camden. So I actually did a med cruise and a Westpac. So I circled the globe on a ship, and I went to all kinds of ports and did everything that the recruiter said. It's like, yeah, this is what you can do. I mean, I never, he's like, you ever seen Top Gun? Yeah, he goes, that's the Navy. I never flew F-14 Tomcats. But yeah, I mean,
That's the entire Navy.
yeah.
In a nutshell, Top Gun's going to be your experience.
Yeah. And
As a boatsman's.
And so, yeah, it was just, now 44-year-old Ryan Henderson could never go back and do what 18-year-old Ryan Henderson did. 2 ships commissioned in the 70s, boiler fed. Oh my Lord. Persian Gulf in the summer, both times. Like, ugh. I couldn't go back and do it, but I'm so happy I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I did. I grew as a man, and I met people from all over the United States. My horizons broadened, and I did. I was able to experience a lot, but there was one experience that I had that paved my way for the war on terror and my role in it. And that was when the USS Cole was bombed. We were a couple hours away from it. And so we basically went full steam ahead to the Gulf of Aden, and us and the Donald Cook were the first ships on the scene to help rescue the survivors of the Cole and body recovery. So yeah, that was kind of my eye opening to, people want to kill us.
Next up, we have a clip from episode number 27 with SEAL Team 6 operator Rob O'Neill, and he shares some funny stories the night of the Osama bin Laden raid.
So we flew back to Virginia Beach, and they brought 28 of us into a room. Now, we've got guys on different trips that got pulled in, senior guys from there was a rock climbing trip in Nevada, but the senior guys got called in, and then other guys came in from Arizona, and then we're here. And other dudes are junior guys at SEAL Team 6 are there, but they're not into this secret room. And they said, all right, you guys are here because this is not a drill. This is real. We found a thing, and this thing is in a house. And this house is in a bowl, and this bowl is in a country. And you guys you're gonna go get this thing, and you're gonna bring it back to us and show it to us. And we're like, okay, no sweat. First, we're wondering why us, but okay, well, what's the thing? Well, we can't tell you. Okay, well, how are we getting there? Can't tell you. What country is this? We can't tell you. How are we getting there? Can't tell you. How much air support? None. Like, all right, that's an answer. No air support. That's all we know. And they said also we're only bringing shooters. Only SEALs are going on this. So we can't bring our kick-ass Air Force CCT, the radio guys. We can't bring the PJs, who are paramedics or fucking medics. So if you know any medical shit, you bring some medical shit. If you know how to use a radio, you're the radio guy. And keep it light, because we only have a certain. So we're like, what the fuck is going on? And so we would walk around. We're trying to get our shit ready. We knew there would be two birds. That's all we knew. We assumed it would be Ospreys off of a flat top going into Libya, because the Arab Spring had just started, and we're going to go get Gaddafi, and they want to interrogate him. So we're going to get him and it's got to be that. But we're walking down. We're in the new building where all of the cages are together on the bottom, and we're running into guys from other squadrons, and they're like, hey man, we heard something's going on. What's going on? And we're literally like, I have no fucking idea. And they got mad at us because they thought we were lying to them. It's like and we'd run into them when we'd go out at night. Like, guys, I don't know what we're doing, but we're getting our shit ready. This went on until Friday, and they said, okay, everyone go home, be with your kids, and you're coming back on Sunday, and we're going to drive you somewhere, and we're going to read you in on what this is. And we're like, okay, who's going to be there at the read-in? And the tired bosses were like, oh, probably the vice president, the secretary of defense, the secretary of the Navy. And we're like, oh my God. And then they're going down the list. They said something, blah, blah, blah. They said CTC pad, blah, 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 blah. And they're going down the list. I'm like, CTC pad, that's CIA counterterrorism, Pakistan, Afghanistan. If we're going to Libya, and I didn't say anything, but we went home, hung out with the kids. We came back on Sunday, and they split us up into vans. We had 4 guys in my van. I got my buddy driving, my other buddy up front. My troop commander, my boss is right here, and then I'm sitting here. And I explained to them on the drive down, we're going to somewhere in North Carolina, and I explained to them exactly what I just said here. And I said, this isn't Gaddafi. They found bin Laden. And my boss looked at me, and there was no cheers. He goes, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we just start talking about this, and my buddy driving the van, I'll never forget the way he looked at me in the mirror, and he said, man, O'Neill, if we kill Osama bin Laden, I will suck yo dick. And we had a laugh about it. Then, fast forwarding, obviously 3 weeks to the day, we're looking down at bin Laden in his house, and I said, well, now's as good a time as any, I guess. And he's like, oh, fuck you. And I'm like, your bet. But we got down there, and they put us all into a room, and the commanding officer of SEAL Team 6. So each squadron had a commanding officer, but 6 was like a group. So that commander, that CEO came in, and I'll never forget the way he said, the reason you guys are here is this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. Then we left, we took a team picture, and then we had our gear on, and said goodbye to the guys that were there. And we actually... we're going with the shooters to the first 2 birds, and instead of like giving them a fist pound, it's giving the guys hugs, and it's like, all right, see you on the ground, and then we left. You do your last thing, take a piss or what. Like, one of my concerns was how are we going to pee on the way? I don't want to get out and have to pee. Like, and they actually, someone came up with these little, I don't know if they have them now, they're probably common, those little diapers you unfold, you can pee in them. But I actually, I don't even trust these things. I'm peeing in a bottle, and I'll throw it out. I actually kept the damn bottle of piss in my pocket the whole mission. I forgot about it. I was pretty excited. I mean, to the point where we were given access to everything. Like, didn't even need to be approved for use yet. If it works, you can have it. And but we're measuring, like, we're trying to cut guys off for, like, you're too heavy, these 2 guys don't carry that, because certain pounds of fuel to get there, because we don't have refuel.
It was that calculated.
We were trying to keep it to that 32 minutes on the ground. We had a dude come in, I don't remember what the hell he was trying to sell us, but he said, here's this box that it jams everything. Like, it jams cell, but like it can jam landlines. It jams this shit, and it weighs, and it's like a kilometer radius.
Wow.
And one of the guys goes, has it been tested in a helicopter? And he goes, no. And he goes, I have a better idea. Can you invent something that's only 30 pounds? It's the radius of this room, and it jams bad ideas. That's a good shit. Anyway, so we went out there, and we got in the birds, and then we took off and we left. I need to tell a part that I didn't. You can edit in, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna
hit it.
Okay. So we're having this conversation when I asked what helicopter crashed, and he said, "Dude, our helicopter crashed in the front yard," because I thought it was something else. As we're having this conversation, one of our snipers was running around the compound with Cairo, and his job was to circle it twice to make sure no one squirted. Ran out of the building, and when we're having this conversation inside, he ran into the point where the pilot had the tail on the fence. So he's looking up and sees this tail. He didn't know they crashed either, and he came over the radio and said, "Guys, inside, be on alert. They are ready for us. They have a training mock-up of our super secret helicopter in the front yard." And there was a weird silence, and the boss came over the radio and goes, "No, jackass, that's ours, because we crashed." And he said, he said over the radio, Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than the shit I was just saying. Carry on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I can leave that out.
Damn.
Next up, we have a clip from episode number 91 with Deadmau5, and he shares some hilarious stories about his good friend Tommy Lee, the drummer of Motley Crue.
They got talking music, and then Steve's like, "Oh, have you heard this Deadmau5 dude?" And Tom's like, "No," right? And he would play him some of my weird shit, not my dance music. He would play him the stuff I did, like, you know, the B-roll shit, you know, that nobody really hears, that I just kind of do for fun, and I give it out to friends and stuff like that. And then for whatever reason, Tommy emails me. He's like, "Yo, your boy dude gave me some of your shit. It's fucking whack, and I love it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, thanks. That's neat. You know, if you want more, I can send you more. I don't know what you would do with it, but whatever, cool." Like, I just didn't see the connection, you know what I mean? But I was like, it was still pretty cool. Like, he sends me this email, and I was like, "Yeah, your boy Steve." No. I'm like, "Rad, cool." So, like, every month or so, when I finish something cool, I'd send it off to him and get some feedback, and then the feedback would turn into like just dumb jokes, or like just stupid chain emails of some meme, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, and then I get another email from him, and I'm living in the I couldn't go to the States. I was banned.
Still.
Henceforth, yeah. So I'm in Niagara Falls, back at my mom's house, debating on moving to Toronto or not. And I get this email from Tommy. He's like, "Yo, I'm playing in Hamilton. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, threaten me with a good fucking time. Of course I'll come." So Hamilton's like, 30-minute drive from Niagara Falls. So it's just like our local thing. He's doing some Motley Crue shit. So he's like, "Yeah, here's Tony's number, email. Just go and send him. He'll put you on the will call and whatever, and get you whatever." So I'm like, cool, yeah. Well, I mean, fuck it, I'll go. I've never been to a concert. I'll go happily sit in GA or whatever ticket you fucking got me, and I'll fucking chill. And so I get there, and I message the Tony guy on my fucking Fido, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come to gate da 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 da." And I'm like, fucking Christ. So I'm like trying to like navigate my way around this whole like idea of being at a venue which I've never been, and then anyway, this fucking BT bleach tip douchebag looking dude fucking finds me, and he's like, "Hey, you Joel, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, Tony." I'm like, "Oh, hey man, nice to meet you." He's like, "Yeah, come on." So he walks me in through the loading bay and just takes me into like one of the locker rooms, and it's like just draped with like fucking hippie sheets, and it just reeks of Nag Champa. That's why I discovered that shit, by the way. The incense, right? And fucking Tommy's just sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, hey." He's like, "Oh, dude. And he's like the nicest guy. Like he's that kind of dude that'll like, like if a friend brings a friend to like a dinner event because he's a good friend of theirs, like he makes everybody feel welcome. You know what I mean? He doesn't just kind of have you around as a prop. You know what I mean? He'll be like, you know what I mean? He's a really, really cool dude. I'm really envious of that because I can't be like that. Like as on as he is when it comes to social awareness. Even though he's not aware he's doing that, he's just got some weird thing with his brain, I guess. I don't know, but he's a really, really cool dude. And I was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you, man." He's like, "Yeah, rad, dude. Let's fucking, you want a beer?" No. I was like, "Yeah, cool." So I was like sitting around drinking, and the funny thing is that my first interaction with the guy really was, so he's like, it was a locker room, right? But they just draped over the pissers, basically, right, with some bullshit just to make it look a little more homely or whatever. And he's got this sound system that has got Figgy pushed in there for him so that he can like kind of party before the show, which I thought was absurd. And he had these contest winners like kind of shuffled into the room, and they're losing their fucking minds. I'm just kind of just like witnessing it at this point. I'm not like shivering in a corner. I'm just like, this is so bizarre, man. Like, what am I doing here? How did this happen? And while I'm in that thought, this is a younger girl came in, like 15, 14 maybe, and her, I would assume, mother, right? I'd like kind of come in. So I'm like, oh, maybe she won a contest thing and she had to come with her mom because fucking, that's whatever. So they're all sitting around, and the mom is just kind of like me. We're just like, on in here, you know what I mean? And Tommy's just like partying. He's like, "Yeah, kill it." And so I'm sitting down, and there's this like little table here. I'll never fucking forget this. And he just kept putting beers in front of me, like Corona. So I'm like drinking a beer, And he's sitting beside me. He stands up. He's like, watch this. He takes the empty bottle, stands up, and just whips it across the fucking room, hits the wall. It fucking explodes. And I was like, oh my God, that's funny, but why would you do that? You know? And the 14-year-old girl is just like laughing her ass off. The mom's terrified. Glass is flying fucking everywhere. And he starts handing me, and he's like, do it. And I was like, bro, like, come on, man. That was like literally my very first rock and roll moment. And then he's like, just fucking whip it, man. And so we're like whipping these empty Corona bottles down the fucking hall. I'm thinking like, see, like anyone else, me especially, like in any other circumstance, I'd get arrested for this shit. You know what I mean? Or at the very least yelled at, you know, or something like that. But I was like, why is this fun? I mean, it felt great to do it, but I was like, this is so juvenile. This is so stupid. Like, I thought you were like an adult, you know, and I think legally you are, but why are we acting like children? I don't know. It's a good time. And there's actually a really fun, I got a photo from that night. I just have to show you this and get your reaction. This is the weirdest fucking photo. Because he's like, yeah, come on, we'll take a selfie. And I had like one of those shitty phones. It's very Googleable. This is the first picture. So this was that night. So this is in that dressing room. And I think I'm like 18 years old.
Holy shit.
It's so weird.
I gotta get that.
Yeah. Just literally Google it. And this is Steve Duda. That's when we started our band thing.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
We'll put that up.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, so I'm out there, like, just hanging out with this fucking rock star thinking, you know, like, okay, but you know what? This is cool. It's an experience. Cool. And I watched the show. I enjoyed it. And then he's like, well, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing this week? Like, I'm going back to my fucking normal ass fucking life and figuring out more music shit, you know? It's like, well, you should come to Montreal. And so he's like, and I'm like, well, I don't drive. First of all, I had to get dropped off here, and I gotta fucking, I don't know, I gotta figure out actually how I'm getting home. Actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, I think I had to borrow $50 from him. I had to ask him. I did. I said, dude, I don't want to be that guy, but can I borrow $50 so I can get the fucking GO train back to Niagara Falls? Because it's like 45 minutes away. It's gonna be like hundreds of dollars for a cab, but I can wait till morning and then get on the GO train and go back. And he's like, yeah, sure, dude. But when do you come to Montreal? I'm like, well, because I can't afford a flight to Montreal if I can't afford a fucking train ride home. He's like, no, just fucking come on the bus, fucking idiot. And I was like, all right. So I got on the bus with him, his tour bus, and then we drove up there. And of course, it was all night just chatting about dumb shit. Nothing music, nothing, no business, no nothing. And I was like, okay, the guy's actually kind of fun to hang out with. He's like a fucking kid. He's a really cool dude. So I ended up like staying with him for like a week. So we do Montreal, we do Quebec, well, Canada. And he's like, I gotta go back to the States later, dude. And I'm like, okay, drop me off at fucking home, you know? And actually, funniest story, my mother was like, I lived off the highway. Pretty much, like, so once the highway kind of ends, you go left or right or straight, right? Straight goes into like a tiny suburb. Left or right goes down this main street called Montrose Road in Niagara Falls. And we lived in like a little bungalow thing in that subdivision. So Tommy had to come back through Niagara Falls to go over to the U.S. border to go to Buffalo, right? And I was like, dude, perfect. Can you drop me off? Like, just literally, like, just exit the highway, fucking, and then just drop me off, and I'm good. And he's like, oh, yeah, easy, because we got to take the QEW to go to the fucking Rainbow Bridge anyway. And I'm like, oh, this works out perfectly. Thank you. So I stayed on tour. We went to a few shows, and he drops me off. And my fucking mom sees this Motley Crue tour bus fucking pull up literally out front of the fucking house because it's right off the fucking highway. Okay, later, dude. Okay, bye. Getting in the house. Mom was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. Because my mom obviously knows who Tommy Lee is. She's like, you were just with Tommy. And I was like, yeah. I don't know, like showing her the picture. And I was like, yeah, we did whatever because he knows Steve. And then she's like, that is just, all right, okay. Get a job now, or whatever. It was just the most bizarre thing. And of course we stayed in touch, and we we collaborated together. Me, Tommy Lee, Steve Duda, and our other mutual friend DJ Arrow, who works with Tommy the most. Like when Tommy does the DJ show stuff at Chester, his name is, but we call him Arrow. All started a group called WTF. We produced some tracks together. So WTF is me, Tommy Lee, Steve Duda, and Arrow, and we did some electro and stuff like that. Put that out. It did okay, and I still rock it from time to time. It's pretty fun. So every few years we get together and fucking all go play a show together, some quiet thing or something just for funsies. But other than that, it's like mostly hangs.
Last on the list is going to be a couple more clips from episode number 98 with Navy SEAL Jonathan Wilson, and he shares some funny stories the night of his first kill and the night of his first raid.
Well, let's go through your first mission. Just as a brand new guy, you've only been in a SEAL team for 9 months.
Yeah.
Now you're in the thick of it. And I mean, that was a very hot time period.
Yep. That first one, man, it was a helo op. So, you know, we came in and I was with one of the assault teams. And so just did the brief. We hopped on the birds, did the rehearsals like we always do, and then hopped on the bird and went to target. And we do the, 1 minute out. Everybody's getting gear ready. I got the night vision on, and I'm looking around the helicopter and seeing the TLs, what they're doing, my TL, and I'm basically just going to be on his hip and hauling ass to the door, to the breach point. And then I'm peeking my head over so we were in Blackhawks and the doors are off, and I'm peeking my head over the side and I see like gunfire coming up. That I knew was not fireflies. That was gunfire. And dudes are like shooting. We land and we immediately go to cover, right? Like, so I mean, we're taking fire and I go hide behind the smallest little berm. Like, it felt like the smallest little berm. It really was. I was like hiding there, like trying to like get behind this thing. And, I mean, we're all engaging and comms start coming up and we're starting to maneuver to target. And, I got a tap on the shoulder, and I'll never forget. It was this guy ended up going to Dam Neck. He's still in. I'm not gonna say who it is. Great dude. He was awesome. He was the TL. And he taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm taking cover." And he's like, John Wayne, gun hanging. He's like, "Dude, let's go." Just calm as could be. And I'm like, literally cowering, like my whole 180 body behind this thing. And he just walks off, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I start like. The blinders came off and I was like, oh, okay, fire over there, taking fire over there. There's nobody shooting at us right now. It was like all around me, but not towards us. So we start walking. I run and he's walking. He looks at me and I see him shake. I can see the nods. Mm-hmm. He's just like such disgust and disappointment. He's like, that was it. We blew the front door. Back then we were blowing everything, threw a slap charge on the gate. Like, gate was open. Let's close the gate. Let's blow the fucking gate.
Yeah.
Doors open, let's close the door, blow that, and then we took down the building. And I mean, it was everything clicked after that moment when he was like, "Let's go." It was just like right back into the training. Oh, okay, got it. Like, we're in patrol now. I'm covering down. Like, we're flowing. It started to get into that flow state where nobody was saying shit, and it was just. I mean, it felt like an orchestra, dude. It was just like, it was happening. The music was happening. People were lining up. Nobody was saying anything. Execute, boom. And we're in the building. And now we're flowing off each other's hips and taking down rooms and hopping back in the train. And the next thing you know, target secure. And it was just like, damn, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
For example, the first dude, I was on the recce team, and we would use telephone like tent poles and put them on these contraptions that opened up and they had teeth. So the buildings overseas were flat, as you know, but we would basically raise this device. It would capture, and we'd have a soft caving ladder, and we would climb to the roof and secure it that way, like secure the target building or climb the target building. And we started taking down the targets from the roof, but we would climb the target building, and the dude we were going after just so happened to come out the top. He was like, there's a cupola and door right usually on these buildings, and he came out, and we ID'd him and put him down right away. And that was the first dude I killed.
Let's get a little more descriptive.
Yeah. So we go in, he comes out, he's running, and he's hopping over a building, and it's from me to the door, so like, I don't know, 10 feet away, and just put the laser on him, and I forgot about this. The boys, I yell freeze.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot about this, dude. Oh my God, the guys gave me so much shit. They said, we heard you from fucking miles away. Like the blocking forces heard you. I said, freeze. And that dude kept running and put him down. And I hopped over.
Where'd you hit him?
I hit him in the back he was kind of running sideways, so like rib cage, and he went down, a couple shots at him.